Welcome to Self-Service UI presentation. My name is Hapreet Kataria. I've been on the ManageIQ UI team since almost the start, 2007. And my GitHub handle is h-kataria.
Hello? All right. I'm Erik Clarizio. My GitHub is Clarizio, and I've been with Red Hat for, this will be year number 3 in November, so about a year, or 2.5 years.
So our agenda for today is I'm going to go over our existing Ops UI and show what a self-service UI user can do in Operations UI. I have some screenshots to go over to show those tasks. And then I will go over the new self-service UI, and I have a small demo for that. And then Erik has some slides and a demo.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, I'll be talking about the dialogues and the custom button support in self-service UI, so the dynamic stuff.
And then we'll go over what's next for the self-service UI. So I have a lot of things to go over in the existing Ops UI. First, there are a few features that are just for admins or for the users with the privileges. They can add dialogues and catalog items and also catalogs. Then there are service catalogs. That's for self-service UI to be able to provision services. And ordering a service, they can edit or remove services. They can reconfigure a service, retire services. They can set ownership of services and also tag services. So this is a screenshot of a service dialog summary screen. In order to be able to provision a service, an admin has to add a catalog item. And when they add a catalog item, they need to have a dialog, because this dialog is run when you provision a service. That's actually, that's a summary screen of a catalog item. So as you can see, when admin adds a catalog item, they can provide a provisioning entry point or a reconfiguration entry point or a retirement entry point. And they can also upload a custom image that will be displayed on when the service is provisioned in the services tree or the service summary screen. Next is the list of service catalogs. And on the right, you can see all services. And we have an order button. You can order a service from the list view, or you can go to a summary screen and order a service from there. That's the dialog for ordering a service. And that's a request summary screen for the service. And you can see the details on the service details screen. And admin can go in and approve or deny a service. I'm sorry, not the service, the request. That's the list of all services. So once the service is provisioned, you can go and see them in the all services area in the existing Ops UI. That's a service detail view. You can perform certain tasks from the toolbar up there. You can edit, remove, or under policy, you can edit tags on a service, or you can retire a service. So that's a screenshot for editing a service. And below, you can see the remove service, set ownership, or reconfigure service buttons.
There's also a little custom button right there, so that'll come into play kind of in the self-service UI. Those will show up too.
And that's a Reconfigure service request screen. This is not available on all the services. That's only available if admin, when they're adding a catalog item, they provide a reconfiguration entry point. That's when you get to see the Reconfigure button on the service. Those are some of the options for the retirement. You can set it to retire immediately, or you can retire it at a later time. And that's an ownership screen where you can change the owner or a group of a service. This is new self-service UI. So the goal was to have a single-page app, and which is obviously faster or better than our existing Ops UI. We are using Patternfly and Bootstrap components on the new self-service UI. And then I'm going to go over dashboard. We have the remove and edit services task on the self-service UI, retire, reconfigure. You can set ownership. And there's a new feature, shopping cart, on the self-service UI. And service catalogs and ordering them is being done from the self-service UI. There's dialogues and custom buttons, and then I have a small demo to display the ordering of services from self-service UI. So new self-service UI is Angular and Angular-based and uses a REST API, versus the existing Ops UI is Ajax and Ruby on Rails based. All the form validation and form changes are being checked on the client side in the new UI. So there are no more round trips to the server on each user interaction with form fields, making the user experience better and faster. All the forms in the self-service UI are Angular-based. That prevents us from saving large amount of data in the session and making round trips back and forth to the server. So this is the screenshot from the new self-service UI showing the filters. And also on the right, you have sorting. You can, on the pull down, you can select which columns to sort on, and there's a component to sort ascending or descending. This is the new dashboard where you can see the counts of the total services, total requests, and then we have some filters on the dashboard, which are the links to those filters. This is the screenshot to the new shopping cart feature that we have in self-service UI. In the shopping cart, you can order multiple services at the same time. And the items in the shopping cart stay available if you log out of the self-service UI and you come back to self-service UI. And in the cart, you can either remove all of the items from the cart, or you can clear, or you can delete individual items from the cart. This is the screenshot for the list view of requests. And then I have a small demo. So, okay. So that's a new dashboard where you can see the counts. Actually, on the left, we have a hamburger menu. So you can expand and collapse the navigation bar. And there's a link to the full admin UI up on the top. That's the shopping cart. And then we have a link to switch the groups of the user, as you can do in our existing Ops UI. And that's the dashboard where we show the total counts of services And then there's some breakup. And the counts are the links that takes you to the filter. We have same for the requests, and on the left navigation, you can see the counts as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on some of the filters. You can apply multiple filters at the same time. You can clear all the filters, or you can clear one at a time. That's the service summary screen, and you can see the details of the dialog the information that you provided when you submitted the request to provision the service. And there you can see the group information and owner information and the retirement information on the screen. And we have some buttons up there to remove the service, to retire the service. You can retire it immediately, or you can retire it at a later time. I'm going to go ahead and set a retirement date on that service. As you can see, the retirement date is changed. Then I'm going to go ahead and show the edit service screen. You can see the save button is disabled right now. So as soon as I made a change, the button is enabled. And I change it back, and the button is disabled again. And that's form validation. In the existing ops UI, we make a round trip to the server to do all this validation and button enable and disable checks. But in SSUI, everything is being done on in JavaScript and in the client side. So I changed the ownership of the service to a different owner. So the flash messages in the new self-service UI, they stay for 5 seconds and then they disappear unless it's an error message that a user has to cancel out by themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and submit a request to provision a service. So as you can see, there's an add to shopping cart button in this SSUI. So one item is added to the shopping cart. And then you can either delete the item from the cart or clear the shopping cart. So I deleted an item from the shopping cart, and I'm going to add another one. So one item was added to the shopping cart. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. So that was a required field that I did not provide. So you can see an error message. So now I have 2 items in the cart, and I'm going to go ahead and log out of the UI. And it still has the items that I just added in the cart. Go ahead and order the items. That creates 2 requests. So as you can see, those 2 requests were just created. That was auto-approved, the request. That's the second request. So you can see there's 2 services that were just provisioned. That's the first service. I had provided a reconfiguration entry point, so you can see there's a reconfigure button on the top. And on the second service, there's no reconfigure button on the top, since that reconfiguration entry point wasn't provided for that. That's the service that I had just marked for retirement. So it's the filter is showing there's one service retiring soon. Present. Yeah. Okay, that concludes my demo. Next, Erik.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the dialogues that Harpreet was using to order those services. So before, I'm pretty sure at least the ones that she had on hers were just, you can fill it in, or you can pick from certain drop downs or radio buttons or something like that, and they're predetermined. Now we have dynamic dialogues. This also exists in the operations UI, but it's been ported over to the self-service UI. So you can attach the dialogues to an automate method and get dynamically refreshing fields. So you want to see, all of the available operating systems that you can use, to provision a VM or something like that. And then the custom buttons also, those leverage the dynamic dialogues, and those are attached to services either directly, like you can have a specific custom button, for your service, or you could have custom buttons that are available for all the services. And I think, do I have another slide? Oh, okay. So that was supposed to be an overview slide, whoops. So like I said before, we have the dynamic dialogues, and the fields can be set to trigger auto refreshes and also listen to auto refreshes. So probably an easy example is, pick your country, and then you pick your country, and then the country or the state, the next drop down the state list populates with all the states available for that country. But obviously it's an automate method, so you can set it to do pretty much whatever you want it to do. Again, custom buttons can be generic to all services or specific for the service, and those leverage those service dialogues. You can tie whatever service dialogue you want to whatever button, so they're pretty powerful. All right, and I have my demo. All right, so very similar to what Hapreet was doing. And just log in, and I already collapsed my my hamburger menu, so I'm just going to go to the catalog items. I have a Summit demo service that I just prepared just for this one, and I'm pretty sure I clicked on it. It was just taking a while. All right, and you can't really read that, and I want to make a joke, so so if I have name, I have California, and I have just a location-based blurb based on where I am. So so here it says, "Hey there, Eric, you're probably at home in 100-degree weather wishing you were hanging out at the MIQ Summit," because it was 100 degrees when I was recording this demo, and it was miserable. So we're going to change it to New Jersey now, and you'll see it's thinking about it. And it says, "I bet you're having a ton of fun hanging out with all the cool kids at the MIQ Summit." Let's change the name to Hapreet, and it's going to think about it again. "Hey there, Hapreet. I bet you're having a ton of fun hanging out with all the cool kids at the MIQ Summit." Here's the current date and time, or at least when I recorded this. You can refresh that one specifically. There I have a Force English checkbox, and you can see that I can't select from there. So after I uncheck that, it refreshes, and now I can select from the language. There I just have two other options, Spanish and Japanese. And then this favorite color, you probably can't really see it very well, but it's going to turn into Japanese text. And that one, you see when I clicked, it doesn't do anything. So when I click the Force English, it's going to reset all those back. And just as an example, I set that to 12, just so that I could refresh that single one, and it doesn't trigger anything else. And you'll see it goes back to what time it was when I recorded this demo. And like Hapreet showed, you can add it to the shopping cart. And I'm going to order that, and then we'll go into the requests and see that it picked everything properly. And there we go. Our name was Hapreet, New Jersey, having a ton of fun. Got the right date, the English, and red. And then, so now we're going to do the same kind of thing in the custom buttons. So I'm just going to use these first two. I have this vFabric service production, and got the fancy pointer here. You can kind of see up here I have a custom button thing with Summit Demo and Summit Demo Orchestration Test. This is a group, and it's on all these services. And my Erik test has a Summit Demo too. This is specific for this service, so this button group only shows up on this one. So we go to this drop down, the Summit Demo, and oh, I forgot about this. All right, so if you make the, let me pause it. If you make the screen wider, or you're on a smaller screen, this gets condensed into a single dropdown. Or if you had a ton of custom buttons, this would all be, in one nice compact dropdown. And we're going to use the Summit demo just to show you that it's the same dialogue. You can attach a different dialogue if you wanted, but it's the same one, and it's going to respond to the auto refreshes just like the other one did. So now that we're in New Jersey, we're not in 100-degree weather anymore. We're having a ton of fun here. Again, it's read only. That checkbox. So that's another thing, is you can change more than just the contents. All the fields support like read only. Certain ones support like the drop downs will support a sort by or sort type. Some of them support like integer or string field. So like the text boxes can support either of those, and you can change those dynamically. It doesn't just have to be the values. And that's it for my demo. And back to Hapreet.
Okay, so next in the self-service UI, we are going to work on adding order history, where you can go and view your order history. And we are planning to add wish list, tagging support for services, and we are planning to add an about dialog that will provide more information about the versions, and more pattern fly components like kebab menus and wizards. And we'll be also adding a service designer that's admin tasks for in the self-service UI that we currently have in the existing operations UI, like creating catalog items and catalogs, and also a dialog editor, which we need to be able to provision a service. Questions? Sure.
So I wonder how have you resolved sharing code between the self-service UI and the classical UI?
That's a Dan question.
The question was about sharing code between the.
Yeah, so you said that the dynamic dialog code is basically used in both the self-service UI and the classical UI.
No, the backend code that's doing the refresh, it's all through the REST API, and this is just taking the response and displaying it. So I mean, you could have a different UI that displays the same stuff, right? Right now, yeah, but you could take out the old UI, or I mean, you could take out this UI if you preferred the old UI. So right now, they both exist in the same place, and that it is like duplicate functionality, yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be resolved in the next loop, right?
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Once the self-service UI is fully has everything, then we'll probably take out the self-service section from the operating system. But the functionality right now is identical, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do all of that same stuff in the self-service UI that you can in, well, the dialogue piece that I showed, that you can. Yes, yeah.
How about targeting specific fields when doing the refresh? So from what I see, whenever you change an auto refresh field, you refresh all the fields and not specific ones. So if there are any plans around there? And second question, when you get back to the requests, and anytime you click on the request, at the moment, it loads all the automation code that is behind the dynamic fields again, while the information is snapshots. It's fixed whenever you have submitted your request.
All right, so I'm not sure about the second part. I was under the impression that it was doing the snapshot and just giving us back what you had submitted. So I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to look into that. But for the first part, we were thinking about doing auto refreshes like that, and the problem is that if we give full control, you can set up a cyclical reference, right? And it would just sit there and spin forever. So ultimately, we came up with, okay, well, we can have something trigger auto refresh, and then everything else listens for now, and that is like a first iteration. And I think what we're thinking about going forward is, maybe having only certain things subscribed to, maybe a specific group. Like, okay, this is subscribed to the Erik group, and it'll only listen for Erik messages, or we're going to trigger off an Erik message, and these things are going to listen. So I think we're going to have some way to have certain components listen to components, but tying them directly, I am not sure if we decided that we wanted to do that or not, just because of the fact that you could potentially get a bunch of layers deep that affects itself at the same time. Yeah, that's a possibility. We haven't fully explored exactly what, because I mean you can do a lot of stuff with the automate, right? So it's for the first pass for the auto refresh stuff, that was our solution. But I mean we've definitely heard that people want that kind of functionality. So I'm sure it's in the pipeline at some point.
For your second question, we only show the information on the request summary screen that you had provided, so it doesn't load everything.
Well, from the last version, I guess, ManageIQ is doing that. It codes again automation.
We can look into that, but as far as I know.
So for the creation of these widgets and pages, how are the RBAC settings done? It can be set by tenant. Can it be set by down individual? They can only see certain data centers, or?
RBAC settings are the same as what we are currently using in the existing UI.
You can't actually create any of them in this UI. This is all just being able to order it. In the future plans, the self designer UI, is that what? Service designer UI. Then you'll be able to create it there. But for right now, you still have to create all the dialogues in the operations UI, and then the self-service UI just leverages them. Any other questions? All right, thanks.